What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counter Punch Boxing News, and I want to talk to you guys about a possible fight that I keep hearing about that's in talks against Canelo Alvarez and Earl the Truth Spence. They asked Oscar De La Hoya, they interviewed him, and of course, Spence is supposed to be in negotiations of fighting Mikey Garcia, the mighty Badger, right? Um, and you know, they're looking forward to a super fight with Earl Spence. Maybe at a catch weight, maybe. But if Canelo has acclimated to 160, we're gonna find out next month. On the 16th. So we'll know how good he is. He looks a lot smaller. They say he's given up eating meat. And that's a good tactic because if they're hell bent on, you know, believing or wanting the public to believe that he was affected by the tainted meat. That's a good idea. Hey, I'll just go vegan, right? I won't eat meat at all. So, okay, whatever. But he looks a lot smaller. But I think he's losing that weight not to, probably for that reason. It could be a dual reason, hey, I won't eat meat because that what gave me a lot of problems before. I mean, you didn't even get fined. You just had a 6-month vacation, really. But I believe that he's losing that weight so he can make 154 or 155 again, or fight at some catch weight under 160. I think if win, lose, or draw, I don't think Canelo will stay at 160. I just don't believe it. Earl Spence, I believe, to get a Canelo fight will go to any weight class. Because remember, Earl Spence is a guy he's at 154, and he's the champion at 154, one of the champs. And, he's the IBF champ. And I believe that Earl the Truth Spence is the kind of guy that he wants good fights. He wants big names. And most importantly, he still needs big names. And because he still needs big names, he has to fight whoever he can get. He took on the Mikey Garcia fight. I mean, Mikey Garcia is pressing that fight. It's not really Earl Spence. So you can't blame Earl Spence for it, but then you look at it like you do have a choice. Okay? You do have a choice whether you take a fight with a smaller guy or wait for a Canelo fight or wait for the Danny Garcia and Porter fight, who will win out of that, right? And then pick the winner or go after the winner of that fight. I mean, wait for the Canelo fight if that's in the works, because Canelo will be free after he fights Golovkin, win, lose, or draw. You know what I mean? So wouldn't that be crazy if it was another draw? Wouldn't how irritating that would be to see another draw between Canelo and Triple G? Man, that would suck. And anyway, I mean, things happen in the sport of boxing, especially if it's another close fight or it's another fight that you can debate on either side. But anyway, Canelo has options. He has the choice to do whatever he really wants because he's still one of the highest paid. He's still the superstar, and that's what we have. The superstar of this era is Canelo Alvarez. You know what I mean? People like Triple G. I like Triple G. But I think Triple G's on his way out. That's why he made such a fuss. That's why he lost his belt. He can't be pissed off at Canelo at the end of the day. He chose to keep running after this kid, and he did it, and he got what he asked for. He got his increase, but he lost his belt. You know what I'm saying? He lost his IBF belt messing around with Canelo Alvarez instead of satisfying his mandatory like Joshua was doing right now with Provectin. You know what I mean? There's no sense of trying to get all those belts just to lose one of them. Waiting on another fighter to fight you or not, fighting about money. So that tells me right there that Golovkin was after money. So I think he's on his way out because, before he was just like all the other guys. He was just like Thurman. He was just like Spence. These guys were hungry to fight the best. You know what I mean? So I guess he fought Canelo and he did knock Canelo out. He did knock Jacobs out. So, I think now he's got his mouth full of talent. He's got what he's asked for. So he's looking to get out of the sport of boxing. So don't look for Triple G to fight too much longer. So when Triple G leaves, and I hope he does leave, I hope he leaves undefeated. I hope he beats Canelo, and then Canelo can go back to where he either was. Because I don't think if he loses to Triple G, I don't think he'll stay at 160. I honestly don't. I think, he's losing all that weight to go back to either that Canelo weight from 155, or he'll create another Canelo weight at 157. So I think he'll do that. He'll probably do that anyway, because he could fight Billy Joe, but I don't even think that he wants any of that. I think he wants to beat Triple G, because Triple G was the guy at 160. Beat him to claim, hey, yeah, I beat this guy, draw it with him, and I got to win against him. So, but the fight Spence, I think if he fights Spence, he takes the fight with Spence, and Spence takes the fight with Garcia before that, and he beats Garcia. And then Errol Spence goes up there and fights him. It would be karma, and Canelo beats him, because I think Canelo beats Spence. Spence is a good fighter. I would like to see the fight, but his style, De La Hoya, I think, is pushing for that fight because of Spence's style. Because if you look at Spence, he's not a guy with really big head movement. He can move his head, but he normally doesn't. He probes with his jab. He gets inside. He works the body. You know what I mean? And when he attacks the body, and if he's successful with the body, you start covering the body, he's going to start ripping upstairs. But he's a harder body puncher than anything, coming from a southpaw. And then fighting Canelo, a guy like Canelo that's well polished, that has quick combinations and upper body moving. He's athletic, and, he has a lot of attributes. I think it's a perfect fight. That's why De La Hoya is entertaining it. De La Hoya, I think he envisioned this fight anyway. That's a big guy. Errol Spence started at 152 or something like that. He started around that area. So he's a big guy. He can make that weight. And then, Spence has been calling out guys at that weight anyway. So that shows you his confidence in wanting to fight those guys up that area. And then to fight one of the highest paid, the superstar, why not? Yeah, he's going to go for that fight. If that fight was at 164.5, Errol Spence will go to 164.5 to make that fight happen. You know what I mean? That fight can happen. But it's the style. It's Spence's style. He attacks too much, and that leaves too many openings for Canelo Alvarez to catch and shoot, to counter, to do a lot of things that Errol Spence would press the attack doing. And Canelo would, I don't know if he would stop Spence. I think he would beat him up really bad. I would think of a kind of like boxing lesson, kind of similar to what, no, not that. Like Kawasaki and like Joe Kawasaki, and what's my man's name? That was he was a they used to call him a little Holyfield. Anyhow, I hate when that happens. But he was knocking everybody out, just like Spence was. And he went up to Kawasaki, and Kawasaki boxed him. He boxed him to death. He gave him a boxing clinic. And what is that guy's name, man? Forgive me, guys. I just woke up, got a brain fart. But, nonetheless, the show must go on. I was going to say Martinez Chavez Jr., because, that looked like it was going to be a fight for the ages. I mean, the last round was very entertaining because, he almost turned it around. But, not Sean Bay Mitchell. That's not his name. But anyway, Kawasaki went up there and he showed. Kawasaki's an underrated fighter. Anyway, let me get back on track. I see Canelo outboxing that guy. I see Canelo really sticking it to it. Like, somebody like Spence that likes to attack like that, that's catch and shoot all day. That's right uppercuts. That's left uppercuts. That's hooks. Just catch and shoot, man. Catch and counter. I see that all day with that fight. I see that straight right landing a lot. You know what I mean? And I think if he can stop Spence, if anybody could stop Spence, it would be Canelo with the power that he possesses. Because Canelo can punch. He's just not a strong middleweight fighter. But then again, you have no one else to compare him to because he only fought Golovkin. You know, he fought Chavez Jr. at a catch weight and he couldn't knock him out or down. Right. So you can't really, you don't know how his power is because it's hard to rate it. You know, he ain't been in there with Jacobs. He hasn't been in there with Saunders. He hasn't been in there with Lemieux even. He hasn't been in there with a lot of guys, you know, so, you know, it is what it is. I mean, he hasn't done it. And I don't know. I think, you know, De La Hoya knows what he's doing. You know, yeah, throw that guy in there. But if he does that, you know, if Earl Spence, if he takes that fight, which I know he will, it would just be another karma situation. You know, you go up and you get beat by a bigger guy or a slightly bigger guy. Let's face it, guys, because Earl Spence is not he's not a small dude. You know what I mean? And I honestly question why he won't go to 154 just to fight Brooke, you know, because Brooke called him out at 154, you know, and I would have done that if I was Earl Spence. I would have done that simply because I would have went there, fought Brooke, then proved to everyone that, hey, Brooke has no excuses now. I beat Brooke twice. You know what I mean? And that will be your rivalry. You know what I mean? That's something that you can stamp. Because when you fight a guy once, especially one of the guys that are one of the champs or the ex-champs in the division like Brooke was, you'll look at it like, okay, you will be that guy that totally solved that problem. You know, you beat that guy all around. You beat that guy at 147 and you beat him at 154. So, you know, but I would have done that. I would have done that before taking on Mikey Garcia, you know, because I think Mikey is the naturally smaller guy, regardless if he fought at 140 or not. He's never been at 147. Then you're a big 147 pounder. You know, a lot of people call him a weight bully. So, you know, I don't know. So if he does beat up Mikey Garcia, you know, that's going to piss a lot of people off. Just like it pissed a lot of people off to see Canelo knock out Khan, right? Because Khan was that guy that, you know, he dared to be great. He wanted the good fights. You know, even after he got knocked out by 2 or 3 guys already. You know, he was already knocked out by 3 guys. Prescott, Garcia. Who else knocked him out? Somebody else knocked out Khan. Prescott, Garcia. Can't remember the last person that knocked him out. I know Diaz knocked him down. And Maidana hurt him. You know, so, you know, he's a chinny guy. But then Canelo just KOs him. Just boom. You know, it was over with. You know, I mean, it looked like, his head hit the back of the canvas. It was sick. You know, and a lot of people were pissed off at Canelo for taking that fight. You know, and I was one of them. I was like, why are you going to fight that guy? You know what I mean? Fight Lara again or something. Don't fight Khan coming up. You know? But anyway, it is what it is. So if Spence does the same thing to Mikey Garcia, you're expecting everyone to push him on up. You know, hey, man, you're knocking these little dudes out too easy, man. Go over there and fight Canelo at 160. You know what I mean? Because that's just not cool. You know what I mean? Because he will look like a bully. He would ultimately look like a bully. You know, but it still will be a competitive fight because Earl Spence still have skills. I just don't think that, first of all, Earl Spence still hasn't fought the guys that he needs to fight to prove that he is like the guy. He was an avoided guy because he was a younger guy without a belt. Now he has a belt. Now he has a little bit more credibility, but still, he has not fought those guys that are those guys at 147 as of yet. He hasn't done that. I hope he gets the Garcia fight. I hope he gets the Porter fight. I hope he fights both of those guys, regardless of who wins the belt. Yes, I want him to fight the winner out of that. But I don't care who he fights, as long as he fights them both. Fight Garcia if Garcia wins, and I figure Garcia is going to win a decision anyway. Okay, and if Garcia will win a decision over Porter. No, Porter's not good at winning decisions, bro. Brook outpointed or Brook, he lost the decision against Brook Thurman. Um, yeah, well, he only has two losses, so Brook and Thurman, you know. But still, he's Garcia. If Garcia can bang with him and have a good fight, you know, I think they're going to give it to Garcia. I think he's a little bit more. It's with the promotion, man. You know what I mean? It's with the promotion. So, yeah, but I would like to see him fight both of those guys just to prove that he is who he is. I love to see Spence fight those guys. Then it will be no, oh, this, that, and the other. Fight them. Let's find out. But, running up there because you can't get fights at 147 to fight Canelo Alvarez, and then you go beat up a little dude, a little badger, right? You beat up the badger that wants to fight you. They're going to push you out of that division. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to push you out of the division, or they're going to avoid you like they've been doing. You're going to fight Canelo and go up there and get beat up. That's what's going to happen. But that's the nature of things. You pick a fight with something bigger than you, a bigger species than you. Because that I look at weight classes like species. Okay, like bigger classifications of a certain animal. Like Canelo's a totally different beast than Errol Spence. Just like Mikey Garcia is a totally different beast from Keith Thurman. Where the hell is Keith Thurman? But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, I think the fight with Canelo and Spence, there, that's I see that happening. But but that's up to Spence. Let's see if Spence. I think Spence would take it. He would take that fight. Because he wanted Triple G at one point. So yeah, he'll take the Canelo fight. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think. I know this has been a little lengthy. It pisses me off that I don't remember who that guy was. And that shows you how people forget about people so fast in the sport of boxing. And I'm normally pretty good with names. But, I have my hangups. And when we finish this video, I'm going to remember, the guy that Kawasaki just demolished. God, what is that guy's name? And Shambe Mitchell keeps popping in my head for some reason because it sounds kind of like Roy Jones beat him too. But anyway, I'll look it up and I'll put it in the description box, and I'll get a million comments. Oh yeah, it was this guy. But anyway, you guys please subscribe. First of all, tell me what you think about Spence and Canelo. Hey, tell me what you guys think. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.